Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss function overloading. Please do subscribe my channel, press subscribe button. Polymorphism is an OOPS concept which says when a message is processed in more than one form, it is called polymorphism, means one thing many form. Function overloading is a concept which is actually implementing the concept of polymorphism. When a message is processed in more than one form, this line, listen everyone carefully. Message actually represents here, technically in a program, the concept of function. So we need to understand what is actually required for the function overloading. First thing, we must have more than one function in a class. Second thing, all these functions must have same name, and Java is a case sensitive language, so all the names of different functions must be same, plus their character cases must also be same. Next thing, that all function definitions must have different numbers and types of arguments. When I say types, that means I am talking about the data type. Now last and the very important thing, that return type of the function definition has no role to play in the function overloading. That's very important for you to understand. Suppose I have got three functions with the same name, different number and types of arguments, right? But if you are thinking that I have to change the return type also, that is not required. But if you are having many functions with the same name but similar types and number of arguments, but return types you are making different, and you are thinking now the function is overloaded and it will work properly. No, it will never work properly. Why? Because number and types of the arguments in different functions in a class must be different, and names of all the functions must be same, that I have already discussed. Now students, whatever we have understood till now for the function overloading, now we have to implement all these things in a program. I am going to start with a very basic program where all the features which I have discussed till now, whether it is name of the functions must be same, number and types of the arguments must be different, all these things are going to be implemented. So please watch this carefully. Program is design a class to overload a function called fun. Details are as follows. First function, return type void, name is fun, parenthesis, it shows the message, have no arguments. Second function, void fun, int one integer type argument to show the value of the variable a, which is an integer. Third is void fun with a character type argument, char ch, to show the value of character ch. Fourth function with a string argument st, name is again fun, return type is void, so void fun is string st, it shows the value of string st. So you can see four functions. First function has 0 argument, no arguments are there. Second function one integer. Third has got one character. Fourth has got one string. Now students, before writing the program, one thing I want, that you have to tell it to yourself that programming is very easy and I am too good. say it to yourself. And I'm going to make things very, very simple for you. Whenever you see this line in a program that design a class, immediately think about the class syntax or definition of the class. How do we define a class? We write first keyword class in small letters. Remember, Java is case sensitive. Then we write the class name. So here I have taken the name fn underscore overld. That represents simply function overloading. And you can have any name. Remember that name must not be a keyword. It must not begin with a number. There should not be any space in between. No special characters like operators must be present. So all these things we need to take care of. Now close your eyes, think about the class definition, class name, open one curly brace, close the curly brace. That is the basic format of a class. Inside that, data members and member function, definitely we will talk about it later. But right now think about class name, curly brace open, curly brace closed. Now I talk about the function. Basically function has got access modifier. I have not written any. So it will take its own default access modifier. I have just written the return type void fun. That is the name of the function, parenthesis. Parenthesis of the function is a place where we pass the argument. And then curly brace open, curly brace close. Second function, void fun, parenthesis, INTA, curly brace open, curly brace close. Third, void fun, parenthesis, char ch, then curly brace open, curly brace closed. Fourth, void fun, string st, curly brace open, curly brace closed. Now you can see all the functions are having same name. Return type is void in every function. Parenthesis of the function has got the argument whatever has been specified in the question. So that is the basic structure. Please practice it. Once you are thorough with this, then we will move ahead with the logic of the program. Means here many functions are there, so I will be talking about different logics for different functions. And now we start designing the program. So here again the same thing, because the same structure which I have discussed earlier I will be using. Only one thing I have done here with every function, that I have added one print statement with every function, because in the question it was specified that every function has to print something. So void fun without any argument will have system.out.println. Function has no argument, that is a message. Messages which are supposed to be printed, they are written in the double quotes, means as it is they are to be printed. So function has no argument. This will be the message printed on the screen when the program is executed. Then void fun second function with the char ch. So system.out.println in the curly brace of this function, in double quotes, character is double quotes close plus ch. So I have written character is in the double quotes and ch is without any double quotes, because I wanted the value of ch to be printed, not ch to be printed. That is why in the second function also I have written number is in the double quote and a without any quotes, because I want the value of a to be printed. And to bring two things together, we have used plus sign over there. So third function is also clear. Then void fun with the string st. So I'll again write system.out.println string is, because I have to show the message string is, plus st, because st's values to be printed, and string is and st is to be brought together, so I put plus over there. So this way 4 function definitions are in front of you. Now how these functions are going to be implemented or called, that we'll do with the main function. Now you all can see I am going to implement and call all the functions in the main function. So the first thing I am going to create the object of the class fn underscore overld. Object Creation syntax is class name, so I have written the class name fn underscore ovrld. Then object name, so object name I have taken ob here. Then assignment operator, which is there to assign the memory, which is allocated through the new and the constructor. So new keyword is there after the assignment operator. Then fn underscore ovrld, parenthesis is there, semicolon. So object is created, name of the object is ob. All these functions which are given above, they are non-static member functions, so they will be called using the object name. So first function ob.fun, parenthesis, semicolon. Why? Because the syntax of calling a function using the object name is, first we write the object name, which is ob here, then we put a dot operator, and then we write the name of the function, and this statement is terminated by a semicolon. Similarly, I call all the other functions ob.fun with the parenthesis. In the single quotes I have written capital A. Third, ob.fun, parenthesis 10. Then ob.fun, double quotes, function overloading. So this program will give the first output. It has no argument. Second function call will print A on the screen with the message. Then 10 will be printed, and with the fourth function call, iString function overloading will be printed with the message in the double quotes. I hope everybody has understood the fundamentals of the function overloading. In my coming video, I will be moving towards the advanced program. And one advice, that practice it hard again and again on a piece of paper, and then you write it on the system as well, and see all your mistakes and try to be perfect. So wait for my next video now. That too will be on the function overloading. Please do subscribe my channel and press subscribe button. Thank you.